Hello, viewers, and welcome back to Behind the Bulletin. Today, we uncover a shocking turn of events that has shaken the fandom and left the entire industry buzzing with questions. The headline catching fire everywhere. Shockwave. Yoona's fan meeting left nearly empty. Fans point fingers at Chae. How could a top star like Yoona face a hall full of empty seats? Why are fans directing their anger toward Chae? What truly happened behind the scenes of this unexpected disaster? Stay with us, because we're diving into every twist, every theory, and every explosive detail. Let's begin, right now. The day was supposed to be unforgettable, a celebration of Yoona's long-awaited return to in-person fan meetings after months of anticipation. Posters lined the venue walls. Staff members moved urgently from one corner to another. A list of her greatest hits echoed throughout the auditorium. Everything had been prepared to perfection. Yet as the doors opened and the start time approached, something was terribly wrong. The seats remained empty. At first, staff members tried to reassure themselves. It's still early. One whispered nervously. Maybe people are stuck in traffic. But as the minutes ticked by, optimism dissolved into dread. Only a handful of fans trickled into the venue, most of them looking confused, checking their tickets repeatedly, as if they themselves could not believe what they were seeing. Yoona, meanwhile, waited backstage, unaware of the catastrophe unfolding beyond the curtains. She was in the dressing room, adjusting her outfit in the mirror, rehearsing the greetings she had practiced all week. "Hello, everyone. I've missed you so much," she smiled softly at her reflection, completely unprepared for the devastating shock waiting on the other side of the stage. Her manager entered with a stiff expression. "We need to talk." She turned, sensing something strange in his tone. "What's wrong? Is there a delay? Sound issues?" He hesitated, struggling to find the right words. "It's the audience. They didn't come." Yoona blinked. "What do you mean?" Hailed shakily. "There are barely 20 people out there." The color drained from her face. Yoona felt the room tilt for a moment, as if the floor had been pulled out beneath her. 20, she whispered. There were thousands of pre-registrations. The event sold out. The manager nodded. "We know. Something happened. And it's spreading fast online." Meanwhile, in the audience area, murmurs had begun to ripple through the small crowd. Did everyone boycott this? Is it true Chae fans organized something? I heard there was a message board thread telling people not to attend. Confusion grew into speculation. And speculation grew into blame. By the time Yoona finally stepped out onto the stage, the shock hit her like a punch to the chest. The enormous hall, capable of holding over 2,000 fans, was nearly empty. The empty seats stared back at her like hollow eyes. Under the bright lights, she felt small, exposed, humiliated, heartbroken. Still, she smiled, forcing her voice to remain steady. "Thank you for being here today," she bowed deeply, hiding the tremor in her hands. But behind her, staff members exchanged pitiful glances. All knew something bigger was happening, something far beyond mild fan disinterest. The moment Yoona stepped backstage after the first segment, another staff member rushed toward her, holding a tablet. "It's everywhere," she said breathlessly. "Social media is exploding." Yoona stared at the screen, disbelief freezing her in place. As a thread with over 90,000 comments accusing Chae, her co-star in a recent drama, of being the reason fans boycotted the event. Boycott Yoona was trending. A shaky video showed an argument between fan groups 2 days earlier. Chae's fans believed Yoona had overshadowed him in interviews, while Yoona's fans claimed Chae disrespected her during the drama's promotion. The tension escalated. And now it seemed the conflict had reached a boiling point, with Yoona paying the price. But the most shocking part was a single leaked post. "Don't go to Yoona's fan meeting." Her feel what Chae felt. It had been shared thousands of times. Yoona felt her throat tighten as she slowly sat down, her legs suddenly weak. Why would they do this?" she whispered. Her manager knelt beside her. "It might be coordinated. But we don't know by who. Or why. Agencies are already discussing it." She pressed her hand to her chest. The humiliation, the confusion, the pain of seeing empty seats where love and support should have been, it was unbearable. She had spent weeks preparing for this day, rehearsing songs, planning games, imagining the joy on her fans' faces. Now, all she could picture was the vast emptiness of the hall. She stood abruptly. I need answers. With that, Yoona walked out of the dressing room with a determination that eclipsed her heartbreak. Someone, somewhere, caused this nightmare, and she intended to find out who. The mystery behind the empty hall was just beginning to unfold. Part 2, Fictional Story, 5,000 Characters. The next morning, the headlines were merciless. Yoona's fan meeting disaster. Empty seats raise questions. Game explodes between fan communities. Pictures of the near-empty venue flooded the internet, along with harsh comments, theories, and a storm of accusations. Yoona didn't sleep that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw those vacant chairs mocking her. Her agency called for an emergency meeting. Representatives sat around a long table, faces grim, while Yoona listened in silence. This is more than a fan meeting problem, one executive said. This was orchestrated. Another nodded. We traced several anonymous posts encouraging a boycott. They all link back to accounts tied to Chae's fan base. Yoona inhaled sharply. They really did this. We're not certain, the executive replied. But the evidence strongly suggests organized interference. Before Yoona could respond, phone lit up, a message from Chae himself. Need to talk. Urgently. She hesitated, then stepped out of the meeting and answered the call. Chae said, his voice shaking. Saw everything. I swear. I had nothing to do with this. I know, she replied softly. But your fans. Not acting on my behalf. Please believe me. There was sincerity in his voice. And a tremor of guilt. Let me help, he said. Fix this together. Yoona closed her eyes. The truth was, didn't know what to believe anymore, but she needed clarity, answers, and maybe even support. That evening, they met in a small private studio used for script readings. As soon as Yoona walked in, Chae stood. Concern etched across his face. I'm so sorry this happened, he said. Do you even know why it happened? She whispered. Up his phone and showed her something shocking, a group chat of extremist fan accounts, not genuine fans, who manipulated both fandoms, spreading lies to spark conflict, pushing both sides toward rivalry, and finally orchestrating the boycott. They wanted chaos, Chae said quietly. They played both sides. Yoona felt a chill run down her spine. Then, none of this was real. Not the anger. Not the hatred. All manufactured. Yoona sank into a chair, covering her face with her hands. The pain she carried for the past 24 hours slowly shifted into something else, heartbreak mixed with relief. Mixed with a sense of betrayal from strangers she never knew. Chae sat beside her. We can expose them together. Show people the truth. Yoona lowered her hands and looked at him. Why would they do this? What's the point? To create drama, he replied. Some people thrive on chaos. The next day, the two appeared together in a live broadcast, something neither fandom expected. The viewers skyrocketed instantly. As the comments scrolled violently across the screen, Yoona took a deep breath. We want to address what happened yesterday, she began. Her voice was steady but emotional. The empty fan meeting was not caused by true fans. It was caused by people who wanted to divide us. Chae nodded. We've seen the evidence. We know the truth. And we want to thank the real fans, the ones who support us, not the ones who spread hate. Broadcast ended with a surprising twist, solidarity. Yoona and Chae, previously perceived as rivals, stood united, exposing the manipulation that led to the disaster. And that moment changed everything. Fans apologized. Messages of support poured in. Plans for a new, joint fan meeting, twice the size of the previous event, began circulating. But above all, the truth became undeniable. The hall was not a symbol of failure. It was a symbol of how dangerous misinformation could be, and how powerful unity could become when the truth finally surfaced. For Yoona, the shockwave of humiliation evolved into a powerful comeback. And for Chae, it became a moment to reconcile, to rebuild, and to protect what truly mattered. History had ended, not with chaos, but with clarity. And the truth? It was far more unexpected than anyone imagined. When the dust finally settled, the shock that once shook the entire industry transformed into a powerful reminder of how easily truth can be twisted. and how quickly chaos can spread when strangers pull the strings from the shadows. But Yoona and Chae's decision to stand together, not as rivals, but as two people choosing honesty over conflict, changed everything. What began as humiliation became a turning point, not just for them, but for the fans who learned how deeply they had been misled. And the empty seats were not a symbol of failure. A lesson in resilience, unity, and the courage it takes to confront misinformation head-on. And as Yoona stepped back onto the stage weeks later, greeted by thousands of supporters, finally understood, sometimes the greatest storms lead to the strongest returns. Thank you for staying with us through this dramatic journey from confusion to clarity. Your attention, your curiosity, and your support mean everything to us. Behind the Bulletin will continue bringing you stories that captivate, surprise, and linger long after the final line. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.